This $50 book made me a more profitable trader. Now, I'm not trying to sell you this book, but I do owe a huge part of my profits to it over the past 7 years I've been trading. It cost me $50, and it has saved me from countless bad strategies that looked profitable historically, but really weren't. And I've never given it the credit it really deserves. Now, what is the actual book I'm talking about? Well, it's called Testing and Tuning Market Trading Systems by Timothy Masters. He holds a PhD in mathematical statistics and has spent 20 plus years building methods to evaluate automated trading strategies. So when this guy talks about how to actually test a strategy, you have to listen. But most interestingly, he worked in government and was an industry consultant for flood detection systems and missile silos. He's also been an author of 4 other books around neural networks and practical algorithms, and he's built toolkits with 500 plus pages of code that you can use and test. Now, how did I actually find this book? It is a bit more of an obscure book, and I randomly stumbled across it online when I was running backtests that looked great on paper, but kept falling apart live. And when I finished reading this book, it completely opened my eyes to one key thing. Just because a backtest looks profitable historically doesn't mean it actually has an edge. And that's the main topic for this video. When looking back, I was just simply hoping. I had no idea if my strategies had a real edge or if I just got lucky on a specific amount of data. So today, I'm going to give you the 4 key tests from this book that you can run on any strategy to know if it actually has an edge or not. And then I'll actually apply this to a real strategy that we're going to be going through on real data that you can also try for yourself. So the 4 tests that we're going to go over is 1, sensitivity. This is just testing if the strategy would still work if we tweak the parameters a bit. 2 is permutation. This is where we shuffle the market thousands of times, and does your strategy beat random noise, or is it just lucky? 3 is partition. This is where, of your total returns, do you know how much of it was from just market trend and how much of it was from skill? And then 4, we're going to be comparing this to benchmarks. And how do you actually compare a strategy to a benchmark like buy and hold? And is it really just as simple as, does it just need to beat SPY? Well, before we get into these 4 tests, let me take you over the strategy we're going to be going through today. It's called the Turnaround Tuesday strategy. This is one of the oldest, most well-documented seasonal patterns in the markets. It was actually first written about in the early 1980s. The thesis is incredibly simple. Mondays are often weak because weekend news weighs on sentiment. But on Tuesday, institutional flows have digested the news and often come back to the market. So the market turns around on Tuesday, and obviously hence the name. Now, to actually test this strategy scientifically, we're going to have to break it down into very simple rules. So what we're going to do here is we're going to buy SPY at Monday's close if the close on Monday is below the previous day's close, which would be Friday's close, and we want Friday's close to be below the close of the previous day, which would be Thursday's close. Overall, what I'm saying is we're only buying on Monday if the previous 2 days were down days, and also Monday closes below Friday's close. 2, the exit is we're going to sell at the first day where the close rises above the previous day's highs. Simply put, we're just selling into strength. And then 3, what I'm going to be actually testing this on is SPY, but you can of course test this on any other market you want to as well. Now, I'm not picking this strategy to crush the market. I'm not expecting 1,000% returns, but I am picking it because it's a perfect strategy to actually put through these 4 tests. It's relatively simple, and we can actually understand where is it making money. Is it just making money because SPY is going up? Or are we going to make money because it actually has some edge? Now, I'm going to give you the basic results here that I ran on this particular strategy using 5 years of historical data. Now, the total return was around 57%. We had an 86% win rate. We had a profit factor of almost 6. We had a Sharpe ratio of 1.24. And overall, we had 44 trades. That meant we were only in the market around 10% of the time. Now, before you click away from this video, just because you've seen the results, we have to go through the rest of these tests to understand, is this strategy actually something that's worth putting live? On the surface, an 86% win rate sounds fantastic, and a profit factor of nearly 6 sounds really good as well. But Master's book taught me one specific lesson. This is exactly where you need to dig deeper and really understand the strategy. So first, we're going to do a parameter sensitivity test. Now, almost every strategy has parameters. Now, for this Turnaround Tuesday strategy, we actually don't have that many parameters we need to really tune or can move, because a lot of it is around, is it going to bounce after Monday? But there is one that we can definitely tune and see how much of an impact it has on results. And this is how many days prior have to be down days. The sensitivity test is very simple that we're going to run. We're going to vary the parameter across a range of different days. And if the returns come back stable, then we know this is a robust strategy. If it has only worked, for example, on one particular parameter value, then we know we've likely curve fitted. Now, in case you've never heard of the word curve fitting before, all it really means is that we have fitted our particular strategy to historical data, which is going to make the backtest look great. But when you actually run this on live or out of sample data, so new data, it's not actually going to work. It doesn't ultimately hold any statistical edge. So when you run this test for yourself, there can be two outcomes you'll see. One is robust. What this primarily looks like is a smooth plateau across that parameter range, meaning none of them are really spiking up or down in performance. It's just, you've got an optimum and then it's slowly declining from there. The second though is a curve fitted one. And this is where you'd see a chart which has got tons of spikes where the performance really spikes up and then instantly drops and then goes back up and then instantly drops. That ultimately is something we do not want to see. Now, how I tested this on the Turnaround Tuesday strategy, here's a kind of sample of the code if you want to take a look at it. But overall, the output was this, and this is how a 3D surface graph looks. On the bottom here, we have the amount of down days that are needed historically and how that affects results. And then on the right-hand side, we also are looking at how many days are for the look back for the new day high. Meaning if we're not just looking for the previous day's high, instead we could look at like the past 10 days high, for example. Overall, this is actually a pretty smooth decline. Now, of course, it does decline, meaning results do get worse as these parameters change, but none of them are spiking up randomly or spiking down, for example, which shows us a great sign that most likely the strategy is actually quite robust and may actually hold statistical edge. To give you a very quick walk down, the 3 regions to really notice is 1, the yellow peak. This is where there are more trades happening because the rules are not as strict, which means more exposure, which means we are also getting a bit higher returns. The purple trough is where it is way too strict, meaning we have too many down days that are really needed before, which means overall amount of trades is dropping, which means total log returns are going to drop as well. And then we have the blue plateau, which is where we're having longer holds and we're also getting a bit more drift exposure. What that means is we're just getting more exposure to SPY because we're in the market for longer, which means we will traditionally get a bit more volatility from that. Now, how did I actually get this data and actually test this strategy? Well, to give you a quick disclaimer, this content is for educational purposes only and it isn't investment advice. Public, as well, has compensated me to create this demo using their data, but all the opinions are expressed as my own, and this was a very clear thing that I agreed with them and if they were going to sponsor. So how did we get this data from public.com? Well, they actually have a free API you can use that covers stocks, ETFs, options, crypto, and bonds. For the Turnaround Tuesday strategy, I just pulled 5 years of daily SPY bars. So that's about 1,255 trading days. And that was plenty for this particular backtest. Now, if you want to access it for yourself, you can check the link in the description for public.com/ghosthawk. And you can also check out their API docs, which is public.com/API/docs. The great thing nowadays of the time we live in is you can pass through a lot of these docs through AI, such as Claude or ChatGPT, and it can help you code these backtests for you. For example, in this particular backtest, I actually used get bars v2 with aggregation, which means I could pull a ton of daily bars very simply just through this one endpoint. If you want to get this set up for yourself as well, all you'll need to do is go into public, create an account with them, then go into the settings page and create a secret key for your API. This secret key will then allow you to create an access token. This access token is just a temporary token that allows you to pull data from them. And if that access token, for example, was leaked, it means it will expire at some point, so there's not too much exposure. But you need to make sure you never share your secret key with anyone at all. And then finally, using that access token, you can pull bar data for any symbol using the historical data endpoint. A great thing is normally it is a pain in the ass to pull data from multiple different markets like crypto, futures, etc. But you can do it all through Public's API. Additionally, where it gets interesting is Public API allows you to send live orders as they are also a brokerage, which means you could take this exact strategy and run it as a live algo on Public after using the backtest data if you found the backtest was something you wanted to take live. Additionally, they actually just released an agent version of this, where you can ask the agent in simple natural language, hey, build me something like buy SPY when Monday closes lower than Friday and sell after 2 days. The agent can build that whole workflow for you and will be able to take that trade for you when those conditions are met. Now, please do use this at your own discretion. All the standard disclaimers apply, but for implementing simple ideas like this, it can be really powerful. The workflow I would recommend is always validate a strategy before using their API and like 5 years of historical data. And then if it passes your particular backtests, then maybe try and deploy it via their API or via their agent on a small size for at least a month or so in a testing period. Now, back to these actual tests to see if the strategy can actually hold up live. So we've tested sensitivity, but what about luck? This leads us onto permutation testing. This is a test Masters calls the single most powerful overfitting detector in his book. The idea is brilliant in its simplicity. You take SPY's daily returns, shuffle them randomly. Now you have fake SPY with the same volatility and same drift as traditional SPY would have. But the days are in random order, which means pure noise. Now we're going to run our strategy on that fake data and repeat it thousands of times. What this visually normally looks like is you have the original SPY returns, green day, red day, etc. Then we're going to shuffle those so they're all in a different kind of sequence. And then we're going to run that thousands of times with our particular strategy and see, is our strategy not able to beat any of the noise at all? Is it just kind of within that noise? Or is it actually holding a real edge? If you want some of the sample code, here's how I kind of coded it for this particular strategy. And then ultimately, what you'll normally get as an output is you'll get the permutated total log returns. So this is just the absolute returns. And then I'd also recommend doing the sharp version of it as well. As we can see in the log returns, we're getting basically a 0.1% chance of luck. So these results ultimately look quite statistically sound. And this is very similar as well for the sharp ratio. Simply put, this strategy beats 999 out of the 1,000 shuffled market returns, which means there's less than 1 in 1,000 chance really that this happens by luck. So we can say, for the most part, this looks like it's not luck. But is it actually skill? Is it just, SPY trending upwards and that's how we're making money? Well, this is where we look at partition. Partition is also needed because markets go up over time. So a fair question for any long strategy is how much of the return comes from my strategy actually adding value, and how much was just the market trending so that any long position I would have captured basically goes up anyway. So Master's partition test decomposes total returns into 3 components and answers this exact question. Ultimately, we're trying to see if our strategy has real skill or real edge. How he splits it down is that you have the total strategy returns equals trend, so market drift, plus skill, so your timing of that entries and exits, and then also bias, which would be your optimization. The rough code is here for what I did. Overall, we're just taking the total log returns, what the trend gave you, what the overfitting inflation is, what's left, which is basically your skill, and then the percentage of your return from skill. An easy way to explain this is in this sort of chart, where we can see the total was 0.4551, but trend, so the market drift, is only giving us about 0.0554 of that total log return, whereas skill is giving us about 0.4 of that, which is absolutely amazing. Now, obviously, bias for here is very low because we didn't run any optimization at all. We ultimately just had those standard criteria, and that's all we did. So as we can see, around 88% of the returns came from real skill and not just the market trending. This is also quite obvious from some of the earlier results. The reason why I say this is we are only in the market 10% of the time. So we can't be capturing that much market drift if we're only in the market about 10% of the time. Then lastly, let's compare against the benchmark. How does it stack up versus just buying SPY? So the strategy made 57% over 5 years, but SPY was up 73% just buying and holding SPY over those 5 years. So on raw returns, we lost the benchmark. But raw returns is not the only thing that matters. 2 strategies with the exact same returns can have very different risk profiles and behave completely different when the market changes. For example, first let's look at our drawdown. The light blue here is SPY, and then the kind of darker color is our strategy. As we can see, we're not even close to SPY's drawdown volatility. Our max drawdown was around 8%, where SPY drew down around 25% at max. So if we wanted almost as much returns as SPY, but reducing our exposure dramatically, we could maybe run this strategy. Additionally, let's see how the strategy performs in different regimes. So in a bull regime, SPY is absolutely flooring this particular strategy. SPY is doing around 28%, while the strategy is only doing about 4%. But in a bear market, this strategy is doing incredibly well, up around 20%, while SPY is down 9%. So this leads me on to the verdict. Honestly, Turnaround Tuesday strategy doesn't beat SPY. That's very clear. It's got 57% versus 73%. But there are some interesting things of why the strategy is actually still valuable to have in a portfolio compared to just longing only SPY. First is it has way lower drawdown. We're having around 8% drawdown compared to SPY's 25% drawdown. 2, it's really strong in bear markets, which means we could run this in tandem with SPY, and because there isn't going to be that much correlation, it can actually smooth out some of those drawdowns, especially in bear markets. Additionally, it's got a way higher adjusted risk return of a sharp ratio of 1.24 versus SPY's around 0.7. Additionally, it's only in the market about 10% of the time, which means we can definitely run other strategies and other exposures, such as very simple long exposure in SPY, and not get too much correlation to this particular strategy. The whole point of this is understanding, can a simple strategy still add value to your portfolio? And in this case, if I was running this personally, I would say it definitely could. A key part of this as well is this is only really possible if you're running this algorithmically. You can't really manage 10 plus strategies if you're not doing it in an automated fashion. So if you want to build strategies like this, and have them fully automated, check out the Crypto Momentum group, which is the first link in the description. We have strategy templates in Python, AI coding guides so you can build these strategies with no coding experience, and live algo walkthroughs. And that's everything for this video. I hope you found it valuable, and definitely check out this book. It's one of the best books on testing systems. Be sure to check out Public at public.com/Ghosthawk to check out the trading API and all the services they offer.